We've been married 6 years. We met on a red-eye flight from Seattle to New York. She asked if she could borrow my phone charger. That was it. I fell in love with her calm, measured voice, the kind that could read disaster warnings and still make you feel safe. Things were good, stable, comfortable. Until about 4 months ago, when she started disappearing for exactly 1 hour every Thursday night. "I just need some time for myself," she said. "Mental reset, therapy, yoga, walking, you know." I didn't know, because she never elaborated and never allowed me to drive her or pick her up. No texts, no calls during that time. I tried not to let it eat at me. She deserved her privacy, but something felt rehearsed. At 8:55 p.m, she'd grab her coat. At 9 p.m. sharp, the door would close behind her. At 10 p.m, she'd return, always refreshed, slightly dazed, and oddly warm, like she'd been somewhere else entirely, somewhere that lingered in her skin. I checked her phone. No apps, no texts, no location data. I saw a single calendar entry every Thursday. Quiet hour. No addresses, no history. One night I asked, "What do you do during this time?" She just smiled, kissed me and said, "You wouldn't understand." Last Thursday, I made up an excuse to leave work early. I parked a block away from our apartment, engine off, headlights dimmed. At 8:59 p.m, she stepped outside, scarf tight around her neck, hands in coat pockets. She walked 3 blocks, then turned left down a narrow alley that curved toward the edge of the industrial district. I followed from half a block behind. She entered an old, windowless building, a long-abandoned diner with a flickering open sign still clinging to life. No cars in the lot, no other people, just her. The door shut behind her at exactly 9 o'clock. I waited. At 10 p.m. sharp, the door opened. She walked out slowly, like she was returning from a dream. Her face looked blank, like it took effort to remember who she was. When her eyes met mine, I ducked down. But something was wrong. Her gait, her posture, her eyes, they were blue. My wife has green eyes. The next morning, I casually asked how her session went. "What session?" she replied, sipping her coffee. "Your Thursday hour." She blinked, then smiled. "Oh, that." Same as always. I wanted to scream. Instead, I nodded, lips tight. She leaned over and kissed my cheek. "You worry too much." So I made a plan. Next Thursday, I'd go inside. Whatever was in that building, whatever was happening during that hour, I needed to see it for myself. At 8:59 p.m, I watched her enter. At 9:02, I slipped in behind her. Inside was dim, dusty, abandoned. Except for a glowing doorway in the back, humming like a refrigerator. A woman, my wife, stood before it, speaking to a man I couldn't fully see. The light pulsed. Then she stepped forward and vanished into it. I ran to the doorway. Through the shimmer, I saw another version of my house, of me, standing in the kitchen, laughing with her. I stumbled back. Another me? Another her? A voice behind me. "You shouldn't be here." I turned. It was her again. Only this time she wasn't smiling. Her eyes were cold. "You weren't supposed to remember this," she said. "We reset you every Thursday. This version of you wasn't compatible. You weren't stable." "What are you talking about?" I whispered. She sighed. "You're one of many. A copy. A trial." I stepped back, dizzy. "I'm not real." She walked toward me, slowly. "Number." "But you were close." The lights surged. My memories flickered. And then she said the words I'll never forget. "Next week, I'll try again." Now I don't know if I should keep pretending or run. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't tell her I had followed her. I didn't mention what I saw. The other me, the glowing doorway, her eyes when she said, "You weren't supposed to remember this." I pretended everything was fine. I made breakfast. I joked. I touched her the way she liked. But inside, I was unraveling. Because if I was a copy, what did that mean? A clone? A simulation? A puppet in some twisted experiment? I started testing myself. I pressed knives to my skin. I bled. I ran for 10 miles until I collapsed. My lungs burned. I smashed my hand with a hammer. The bones cracked. They healed. I was real. I felt real, but the doubt gnawed at me. The diner was boarded up the next day. Gone. No glow. No sign it had ever been open. I even checked city permits. The building was condemned. No activity in years. But I remembered the address, the smell, the hum of the doorway. So I searched. Deep web forums, Reddit rabbit holes, fringe theories, keywords like mirror testing, quantum loops, identity resets. Then I found a thread titled The Thursday People. A handful of posts, deleted accounts, but one reply stayed. "If you're asking, you've already been flagged. Every Thursday, they run the patch. You're not the original, and you're not the only one who knows." It ended with coordinates. I drove 6 hours north to a remote cabin hidden in the woods. Cold wind, rusted gates, no cell signal. A woman answered the door, mid-30s, pale, wary. Her eyes scanned me like a barcode. "You're one of hers, aren't you?" she whispered. I nodded. Inside were 4 others, all different ages. One guy had burn scars on his neck. One girl, maybe 20, had mismatched eyes. Each of them on a different Thursday had discovered their spouse was not who they seemed. And more importantly, they were not the originals either. We were versions, backups, experiments, test cases to study behavior under emotional strain, to track consciousness replication, to find compatibility. Some of them had tried to escape, none had succeeded. Burn Scar Guy, Tom, showed me his journal. Dates, names, versions. Every Thursday, something resets, not just memory, reality itself. He claimed to have killed his wife once. She came back the next Thursday, good as new, humming in the kitchen. I didn't believe him until he showed me the footage. He had killed her, brutally, and she had returned, smiling, unafraid. They weren't human anymore, if they ever were. 5. The decision. I left the cabin with a plan. Next Thursday, I would confront her again, not follow her, stop her, trap her in the house, record everything, force the truth. But Thursday came, 8:55 p.m. She rose from the couch and reached for her coat. I blocked the door. She looked at me, calm, no surprise. "I was wondering how long this version would last," she said. I pulled a knife. She didn't flinch. "You won't kill me," she added. "You don't need to." "Why Thursday?" I demanded. "Why always an hour?" She sighed. "Because that's all the stability your mind can handle. After an hour, the fractures start, you forget, you reboot. Thursday is maintenance, a software patch." I laughed. "So I'm just code. Number, you're something new, organic, built from the real you. He died 5 years ago." "What about you?" I asked. She smiled, sad. "I was his wife. Now I'm your warden." She opened the door behind her, not to the hallway, but to the light again. "Come with me," she said, and I almost did. But then I remembered Tom, the others. So I closed the door and locked it. Now I have 1 hour to decide. Do I destroy her before she resets me, or become something she can't control? It was 9:01 p.m. She stood behind the locked door, calm as ever, waiting. I paced the room like a trapped animal. "You know the reset begins soon," she called gently through the door. "Your thoughts will unravel in 20 minutes. By 40, you'll forget this conversation. By 60, you'll be back to loving me. A good version." "Not this time," I said. I'd prepared. I had taken stimulants, coffee, modafinil, even pain, shallow cuts on my wrist to keep me anchored, anything to keep my mind sharp, but already I could feel it, thoughts fuzzing, faces blurring. I wrote on my arm in marker, "Don't trust her." At 9:12 p.m, the fire alarm blared. Smoke? No, a distraction. She'd triggered it. While the shrieking rang in my ears, I heard glass breaking in the hallway. Then her voice again, much closer. "You can't fight the structure. You can't outthink what you were built to forget." But I had one edge. I'd downloaded footage from my house, hidden cameras from last Thursday. I loaded the file. The video played, me on the couch, her walking in 10:01 p.m. She kisses me. My eyes glaze. I whisper, "Did it work?" She nods. "He's gone. This one's better." "This one's better?" Better than who? Better for what? I bolted upstairs to the attic, the one place she never went. That's where I hid the failsafe. A journal I had started weeks ago, hidden inside a hollow beam. Page after page, versions, dates. Her name, circled in red. Phrases like, "I'm not the first and she doesn't age," and "They built her to test us." I flipped to the most recent entry. It read, Thursday, 8:57 p.m. "You found this too late. She resets more than you do. She isn't testing you. She's escaping something worse." It hit me like ice in my lungs. She wasn't the warden. She was a prisoner too. Thursday wasn't a routine. It was a ritual, a failsafe built into a system designed to cage not just copies, but her. The original her, or something pretending to be? Was I the test subject, or the cage? Downstairs, I heard her speak softly. "Do you know what I was before I met him? Before I met you?" She stepped into the living room, hands raised. I was a fragment, a passenger in someone else's body. Then the fracture happened. He died, but I didn't go away. I stayed, I learned, and I built you to keep me hidden. 9:39 p.m. My thoughts flickered like dying bulbs. I saw my hands but couldn't feel them. The writing on my arms blurred. She sat beside me now. "It's okay," she whispered. "You did better this time. You made it farther." "Why?" I muttered. "Why do you stay?" "Because I'm not supposed to exist," she said. "Out there, they're looking for me. But in here, in you, I'm safe." I looked at the clock. 9:48, 12 minutes left. She smiled sadly. You'll forget again, you always do. But then, a new thought slipped through. What if I let the reset happen? What if I fake it? Let her think she's safe, while I remember everything. So I smiled. I blinked slowly. Let the blankness settle into my eyes. I love you, I said flatly. Her face relaxed. 10 p.m, reset complete. She kissed me. I kissed her back. But this time, I didn't forget.